Hi and welcome to this week's GMBN Tech Show. Coming up this week, what we got first?
Oh, we got some brand new park tools.
Oh, we have, yeah. Alma gets a bit of a makeover as well.
Yeah, and we've got a brand new partner, another one.
A brand new brand partner.
Yeah, brand partner. Who could it be? So the topic today is branding faux pas, who you should mix and match with or without or not. And this kind of came about, well, we've got two nuke-proof Scouts in the corner here. I had some RockShox forks, so I spec'd it with SRAM, naturally.
Picking on me.
What did you do?
Okay, I'll see where this is going.
Yeah, so Doddy's Scout has RockShox forks as well, and he's got Shimano drivetrain.
And brakes.
Whoa, okay. And we wondered, is that okay? Because obviously, RockShox comes under the umbrella of SRAM, doesn't it? And often we see bikes spec'd up from manufacturers, straight from the factory, with SRAM everything. So SRAM brakes, drivetrain, RockShox forks, and then Shimano usually comes with Fox, doesn't it? Typically.
Yeah, and you can only assume that's probably because Shimano don't make suspension, so it's a neutral brand spec, because likewise, Fox Group don't make anything transmission related.
Yeah.
It kind of fits, really, doesn't it?
But it got us talking, didn't it? And there's a few people in the office that absolutely won't mix, but then Rich Payne would absolutely put a SRAM Axis dropper on everything,
and
regardless.
I'd be right with him there. I think it's incredible, that seat post.
Yeah, I personally don't feel like... I would never mix and match suspension. I'd never put RockShox up front and Fox up rear or vice versa. That would weird me out completely. I'd feel like one of them just would throw me over some way in anger of being together, but a dropper seems different to me.
Well, there is a reason. We're going to get to why I spec'd it like that at the end, because it's going to do a bit of a full circle here. But I've written a list of things here, because there's loads. Like you've just said, Fox and SRAM, it's kind of two different things, put Shimano in there. Yeah, the Axis post, kind of a little bit different because it is just a drop post, but it's all part of the Axis group. You want to kind of use that stuff together, really. You've jumped in there and put Bontrager wheels or tyres on a not Trek bike.
Yeah.
You can say specialised tyres, not on a specialised bike.
Yeah, or Roval wheels, which if you don't know.
Nuke-proof components.
Absolutely. Could you actually put a nuke-proof component, as good as they are, on something that's not a nuke-proof?
I see one in here that's really got the OCD weird.
Yeah, go on.
Pedro's spanner on a park toolboard.
Oh, you have that bit of yellow
like a fox
just
amongst the chickens.
Right in the blue. Yeah, no, absolutely. And we could go into clothing as well, because Specialized and Scott actually do make really nice clothing.
Both make helmets as well.
Yeah, but would you ever wear that on a nuke-proof? That would be weird, wouldn't it?
Or are we thinking way too much into this and no one's ever even considered any of these things? Now, I've got to confess, I did kind of bring this up a couple of years ago. I mean, it's many shows back when I was called out again on mix and match tyres I had on a bike. They were the same tyre, but the TAML was slightly different colours. I think it was, I forget the story now, but one was either faded or it was an old batch or whatever. And so people commented in a picture. And it just made me think, actually, do people care about this stuff? Does it bother you what actually comes on your bike?
I don't think it's a faux pas that you had a slightly different variation of tan wall.
I do.
But if you were to put a Maxxis on the front and a Schwalbe on the back, it'd be like wearing two different shoes, surely.
See, now I could not do that.
No.
I spent a long time testing products for magazines, and in those days, I'd quite often be out in different shoes, different gloves, different pedals, different tyres, you're trying to maximise your time. Yeah. And it never, ever bothered me the whole time. But now, you look at some of my bikes from back in those days, and they were just the right pig's ear of, all sorts of stuff going on. But sometimes you do find individual components that work best for you.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that there's a lot of brands out there that will put like race face cranks, for example, with a Shimano drivetrain, because they think they're better, they look better, or maybe it's more affordable, and they don't put value into the crank arms. But and that's never really bothered me. So little bits here and there. Maybe buying a more affordable cassette in the rear, even if it's the opposite brand, like a SRAM cassette with Shimano, if they marry up, wouldn't bother me. But I would not want to see a nuke-proof label on my Orbea. That would weird me out. Very much so.
See that,
and I couldn't be wearing Scott clothing with Roval wheels. That would just no.
It's just weird. It's definitely something you go around in circles about. But An important thing to factor in here is there are bike brands now that are kind of going against this slightly. So YT, Cannondale, Marin, for example, they've all got bikes with opposites on there. So I've got Marin Alpine Trail Carbon, there's one on screen here. It's got Shimano Dior as a drivetrain on it, mix and match components, admittedly, and it's got RockShox suspension. This YT Capra Elite has got a SRAM transmission with Fox suspension on it and SRAM brakes. And there's a Cannondale as well. There's loads of different options out there. And actually, that's all come off the back of the global supply chain shortage and bike manufacturers just being smart about like, hey, great suspension, this is going to connect well, basically. And things have changed. And that's kind of what happened with that bike. So when Nukeproof, basically my size XL, they didn't have a complete bike, so they sent me the frame. And I swapped off most of the components that were left from my old previous bike, but fork wasn't the right travel, the seat post didn't fit. There's a bunch of things that didn't work, so I pretty much grafted them on. It made me think how the industry's kind of adapted as well.
And it did force Nukeproof to start selling frame only as well for people to spec up. And I wonder if the industry might go that way a bit more. And I think it's kind of a good thing that people actually put what they want on there, and maybe some of that snobbishness will go as a result.
Would it for you?
Not when I wouldn't have SRAM brakes and Shimano drivetrain or something like that. No. Maybe SRAM drivetrain with Fox suspension, yeah. It's like, if that's your go-to, then you've got to have the best. But...
Right, well, it begs the question, doesn't it? Like, what would you do? You know we're going to go there, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you care about it? Does it bother you? You know, do you have a bike that came with sort of mixed components and suspension on there? I'd be interested to know, like, name drop it if you did. And otherwise, do you hand-pick components? You know, perhaps you found your ultimate front tyre, but you're still searching for that fast-rolling rear tyre, or whatever it is. Interested to know how you sort of mix and match your things on your bikes.
So, big news in the world of GMBN is we have a new brand partner, and Smith have joined us for helmets and eyewear. So I'll actually be changing these prescription glasses as well, which I'm really excited about. I should really clean those. But they do prescription sunglasses as well, so you'll be seeing us in those. And I got to say, I used to wear the Wildcaps before I joined GMBN, and I'm a massive fan of those. The vision that you get on Smith eyewear is amazing. And it's no surprise that the inventor, well, the man behind Smith, Bob Smith, who was a proper ski bum from the 60s, hence he was very into vision, and hence why we see a lot of technology when it comes to sort of wraparound vision and sort of polarized, saturized colors. So his first invention was actually back in 1965, where he invented one of the first ever non-fogging goggles for ski. And he went with this kind of double layer, like a kind of, well, you described it as a double glazing effect, double lens with a seal of foam around the outside so that it was breathable, and it was one of the first anti-fog goggles on the market. And he was literally just, he was an orthodontist at the time, just into skiing, invented this in his garage and started selling them out the back of his car, and they went down pretty well. So
I love a garage inventor story.
That's so cool, isn't it?
I don't know how you do like things like lenses in your garage. You must have had some pretty cool kit.
I know. And believe it or not, he was the inventor behind the roll-offs as well.
Oh, the old...
So the classic pull and then your sort of little visor, well, not a visor, but it was like a piece of plastic comes across your goggles and you just pull it to pull it through.
It's so much nicer than tear-offs.
Instead of having tear-offs. So he literally didn't want that waste, and that was back in 1984. I didn't realise it was around for that long. In fact, but he invented that for motocross, so he went from ski to motocross, and then in the early 2000s, he went to mountain biking. So we've got all of that technology from ski and motocross to thank for what we're going to be wearing for the next coming. You got any words to say on Smith
to be fair, I've not spent too much time in Smith's helmets or eyewear, but the thing that's always fascinated me is the design that they use. I mean, have a look at that. The amount of ventilation and the size of the ventilation you've got on the actual helmets here on the forefront, using the AeroCore technology. A little bit like straws, if you can imagine. You think about the amount of air transfer that you can get through those. Pretty amazing considering the coverage that you have on your helmet there. That's the Cortel system. So for something that's actually a structure, it's like 95% air or something bonkers. Yeah, pretty cool system. I'm interested to see how that feels.
But yeah, the damping technology on that should be better or as good as foam. But I think we should go into a bit more detail another time.
We certainly will. Yeah, I want to spend a bit of time, get to know the range a bit, try some out. Yeah, good stuff. Excited about it. Next up, Park Tools. I've got a few more new tools. This one is a classic wheel trimming jig, wheel stand. This one is the TS 2.3. I don't even know what number it is, the one I've got at home, but mine is, I've had it since like 1995 or something.
Big
Still going strong.
One.
Yeah, they've just incrementally improved them over the years. You've got tooling now for through axles that actually mounts directly onto the stands. You don't need additional equipment. Small things like composite tips. So if you've got like posh painted rims, you're not going to scuff them or scratch them when you're truing your wheel. You can mount them in your vise, or you can get the actual swivel mount stand that we've actually got on the one in the workshop behind us here. Just slight improvements. If you're in the market for wheel jig, these are kind of like industry standard. Great things to look at. Also, a few more tools available from them. We've seen these for a while actually. So this one's the PS1 disc pad spreader. Now you might have seen these on Toolbox Wars. Some of the pro mechanics out there adapting old disc rotors into tools. I think it's cool that Park have taken the next step and identified what the pro mechanics have been doing and offered a consumer version, which I think is awesome. End cap pliers as well, if I'm going to be completely honest. That is a tool I never thought I needed, and I absolutely love it. It's designed just to put end caps on inner cables. That's like for the mechanic that has everything. Just a super nice tool. I love it. I love this sort of stuff.
Love a spring-loaded tool.
Oh man, it's so nice. Yeah, so there's going to be more stuff. We've also got, well, it won't look that interesting to you, but it's really interesting to me for the set. So this is to mount sockets on the wall. Now, sockets go everywhere, and our friends at GCN have a habit of leaving sockets just flying around the place. So finally, we're going to be able to mount them on the plate on the wall there, and they each have their own home. Nice and easy to organise, with a little ball bearing on there to keep them in place. Small things go a big way, I think.
They do. Speaking of small things, the Alma on the Orbeyers range, so they're super lightweight, super fast, XC hardtail has just had a refresh. Obviously, it was feeling jealous that the Oys had been refreshed and got some new paint jobs, so the Alma has as well. So they're also specking some of the models with the new Akuo.
Oh, their wheel range, the beautiful wheels, yeah.
Those beautiful wheels with the gold writing is now available on some of the models. But if you look at the OMX carbon model of the Alma, we've now got a raw matte lavender gloss, which looks absolutely delightful, and also a carbon raw matte red wine carbon view gloss. That basically means it's raw carbon, and then you've got this red smoke up the front, which honestly looks like a custom job.
Their paintwork's amazing on some of their bikes. Yeah, it's standard. Like, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, the OMR carbon's also got a few extra shades as well, and it's got me wondering if they even need the Mayo custom colour.
Yeah, 'cause they're so nice.
When the originals are so good, why would you bother? But you can.
That Alma is such a beautiful bike. That one I borrowed last year when we went for that gravel ride. Man, I can't remember what it weighed, but it was, in my size, it was bonkers. It was so light.
I was just talking to Rich about this because I want to get a hardtail, and his large Alma with forks, with pedals, is 20.5 pounds. So it's like unbelievably light. So light. That
is seriously light, yeah. Well, it should be in that size as well. You know, so sure. Impressive bike. Next up, something for the retro fans out there, but also actually just for anyone to appreciate, Dirty Jerseys, the book. Now, in the past, we haven't got them up now, you might have seen some posters with loads of different helmets and loads of different jerseys in here and the Dirt Shed. Now, they were made by Dirty Jerseys, so that is the artwork of Jeff Waugh, photographer and journalist, and he's now got a book with some of the most iconic jerseys of all time there. You've got Palmer, you've got Petey, you've got Jason McCroy, Tomac, Jurgen Beneke, Bart Brent Jones, Hans Ray. They're all in here, but each jersey that's picked in this book has its own unique story of a particular occasion it was used. And it's just a really, really nice way to tell a story and set you in a scene of a cycling time. I think it's really cool. This one's actually a pre-production. Jeff did say, there's a couple of typos in there and it might fall apart. But I've got to say, this is even beautifully bound and put together.
Yeah,
and
did I just see Martin Ashton
I'm sure
there's
ones in there, yeah. I haven't actually had the time to properly read it. I'm going to take that home and read it. But super nice. His Instagram is at the bottom of the screen, and there's going to be a link to his Dirty Jerseys website. 35 quid. Great book. great knowledge to get.
Yeah, and we need to bring back these gold pants.
Oh, Paola Pezzo. So one of the most iconic cyclists of all time. I know that without even reading it. Gary Fisher had the common sense to put her at the absolute top and she took it to the Olympics. Amazing rider. Quiz time. First question coming straight at you. You should know the drill by now. Tech-related questions. What is the technology that Smith use in their helmets for additional protection and ventilation?
Second question is, what was the first product that Smith released? I did tell you earlier.
And third question, when was the roll-off system first patented and developed for motocross use? Questions coming, answers coming later?
Some of the answers and questions later.
Something like that.
Okay, time for comments from you lovely people. And last week I was on holiday and the Germans came to town, didn't they?
They certainly did.
We all talked about German tech and there was a lot of love for those guys, actually. A lot of love for them in the comments. Tim Sadler, one of our regulars, says, I have never not been impressed, sometimes confused, but ultimately blown away with Nikolai bikes. Yeah, I think we both agree on that one, don't we?
I'll tell you what, Tim, you should have a look at the book if you can get hold of it. I would lend you my one, except I couldn't post it because it weighs an absolute ton.
It's a big book.
It's one of the most incredible pieces of cycling literature ever. Incredible book, well worth hunting that one out. Next from Mikey, didn't hear Tune getting a mention. Great shout. Always come under the radar a little bit. Beautiful stuff. Been making beautiful lightweight CNC parts for ages. Yeah, I have. I'm sure there's many we forgot, to be fair. There's so many.
Well, just coming in from Francis D, who says bike yoke. I don't think we mentioned bike yoke.
Yeah.
I've got that on my...
Got a post on the bike right there.
Yeah.
Doranimal says, Lightville in Syntace, always thinking outside the box. You haven't featured the steering damper from what I've seen, described in Italy as dentist bikes when I was there last year, which amused me. Yeah, Lightville, beautiful stuff, and Syntace components, many, many great things. And yes, watch this space on the KISS system.
Yeah. So Matters Imo says, Last Bikes, my local brand. I think they are building great bikes. Sadly, I didn't get to ride one just yet.
Maybe you will in the future.
Good shout on that one.
And more love for Lightville from Neil Sutton. He says, Lightville 301, best bike I've ever had. Thanks, Joe Kleber.
I think I've ridden one of these. Those were when they spec'd different wheel sizes according to your size.
Yeah.
So
quite
I was
ahead
on
of the times.
Like a 650B double and then it was mullet 650 whatever.
Yeah.
I've got feedback. ZA Loop says, as an engineer in German, although not originally German, I've got to agree with Malik. It's the mentality of customers, as you don't want to outperform and over deliver. So otherwise you get complaints. So that's why they work hard on their stuff.
I can see
otherwise
that completely.
Hear about it.
do you know what? Behind the scenes stuff, we got to hang out with them, went out for some beers and some food and stuff. They're such a cool team, and I hope we're going to get some more time with them this year. I think they're keen to sort of come over here and film a bit more often. It doesn't sound they've got like too much in the way of sets back at their base, and they've got loads of great riding on the doorstep where they're based, but not quite as good for filming indoors. I think they kind of come over here every once in a while. But we'll see them at the festival for sure. But, But yeah, they're awesome, a whole lot of them. Great guys. Okay, now we've got time for some top mods, so please do get involved with this section of the show. If you've made any differences to your bike, any changes, any customisations to make it a bit different from stock or a bit better than your mate's bike, we'd love to see it. There's a link to our uploader down there. Get involved, tell us where you're from, what you've done to your bike, and more importantly, send us some great pictures of it or some video clips so we can put you on the show. First one this week is from Christian in Bavaria. He's got a Mondraker Summum 2022 model, so last year's one, and he's wrapped it, so it looks sick. Check this out.
Yeah, he's changed
That's a very clean looking job.
Changed the decals to not only gold, but also changed the font on the Mondraker. Is that a brand faux pas? Is that another one? Do we like it? Should it always be in the original font?
Or is it just in the eye of the beholder, that one?
Is it a faux pas that he's not matched the decals on the Fox?
Oh, meow.
I don't. I'm looking at that and it looks beautiful, regardless.
I've always thought, actually, for particular types of bikes, like downer bike's a great example, wrapping a frame seems really sensible to me.
Yeah.
Because you're going to kill that down tube with flying rocks and stuff because of where you ride them.
Yeah.
And I've always just wondered why more people don't do that. You obviously see it with heli-tape and stuff, but...
And Visiframe and whatnot is very... Yeah, I mean, wrapping cars is getting really popular now, actually.
It's a good way to protect them. Peel them off and then pass them on.
Maybe we'll see that soon.
Yeah, it looks good though. Nice work.
So I've got a Rocky Mountain altitude here from Vincent in the Philippines, who says that this crank is when I swapped my 2x to 1x and decided to hand polish it, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah.
That looks tricked, doesn't it? It looks like a little aftermarket one.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Nice work. Great to hear from someone riding out in the Philippines as well. I seem to remember when GMBN Tech started, we had loads of viewers out in the Philippines who were just sending us riding shots, and I just had no idea how many people loved mountain biking out there.
A massive community, and in fact I met 5 or 6 of you guys over in Ardrock last year, so if you're watching, hi guys, I remember you from my 650B video. But,
I'd love to go over there. Never got to... When I did some travelling in Southeast Asia, I was too early in the year to go the route I wanted to go and end up in the Philippines. I'd love to go back. I'd love to go out there.
Well, from the Philippines over to Utah, we've got, we don't know your name, you haven't shared it, but he's got a Fazari Kings Peak, which is a fat bike, come 29er. So he's custom built himself a second wheel set with 29-inch rims laced on fat bike width hubs, which means he can now swap between the two depending on whether he's going to hit the snow or hit the dirt.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
That's a top mod.
Real cool top mod.
That is a really top mod to lace it up onto fat bike hubs and everything. That's cool.
I like that your location is Utah as well. So am I right in thinking the Fazari bikes are from Moab or near to there?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, local bike, local location.
So he's swapping between 27.5 by 4.5 tyres up to 29 by 3-inch tyres. Nice and quick and easy.
That's a great thing to do, just making the most out of having one bike.
Yeah.
I did that video last year where I had a bit of cross-country wheels on my trail bike.
Yes.
And actually, it's a much cheaper way of having 2 bikes.
Yes, it really is.
It really is, yeah.
What a genius, absolutely genius, which seems obvious, but yeah, brilliant.
Thanks for your entries, everyone. Okay, we've got time for some quiz answers just before wrapping up the show. So the first question was, what is the technology called that Smith use in their helmets for extra protection and ventilation? It's choroid technology. So it's thin-walled tubes. So there's a helmet floating around here somewhere, I'm sure, as you can see here. And look at the size of these vents. If you didn't basically have anything protecting you inside these vents, you get sticks and all sorts of stuff poking in through them. So what they've done is they've integrated this stuff into the actual whole design of the helmet. So not only are you aiding ventilation, but you're gaining more impact protection. And they say it offers a structure that's 95% air. This is seriously cool. I've got to geek out properly on all their stuff, but loving that.
Yeah, so you get the vent with the impact protection. That's brilliant.
Yeah, very cool.
Sorry.
Don't worry. I'll keep on tracking the voice.
What was the first product that Smith released? It was the goggles that he was selling out the back of his van while he was skiing. So it was the anti-fog twin lens goggles in particular. He didn't invent goggles, but yeah, still really groundbreaking.
And the last one was, when was the roll-off system first patented and designed for motocross use?
When I was born.
1984. Mad, isn't it?
Yes,
That's
ages ago.
Mad. Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing that sort of system come over into mountain biking. So, I seem to remember it from like 2015, not from like 1984. So that's well cool.
What I think is crazy is that tear-offs still exist when we've got that system.
I seem to remember a company making biodegradable tear-offs, which is the right way of doing it.
Yeah, motocross have started to ban tear-offs, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's all we've got time for. Do join the debate down in the comments below on what you think are brand faux pas, whether you care. Would you run 2 branded tyres, suspension? Do you even care? Let us know down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to go and look at theglobalbikefestival.com. Come and meet us at the Global Bike Festival in June.
Yeah, that's right. Come and party. We're going to be, I'll be spinning some tunes. We'll be fixing some bikes. We'll be riding. To be fair, hopefully riding more than fixing bikes.
Drinking coffee.
I've had enough of fixing bikes.
Drinking beer and coffee.
You can drink coffee or drink beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, come and join us if you're around. It's the same weekend, as far as I know, as a Leo Gang World Cup as well. So you can double it all up and ride over the hill and see a bit of everything. Awesome stuff. Thanks for watching.